Hi, Dad. It is Saturday, August the 2nd, and I wanted to show you what's going on today. The first thing is that we have refinished the deck. In all the years we've had it, we hadn't done it yet. So we pressure washed it to clean it off, and then over a series of several days, we stained it. So Bruce did a lot of it. In comparison, these steps are unfinished, so that was in pretty bad shape. So that's the first new thing around here. The second new thing is that the greenhouse has gone kind of wild. Everything's growing like crazy. Some of the tomatoes are getting ripe, which, for August isn't all that unusual. This is something that I'm excited about. I've got spaghetti squash. I've got at least 2 of them in here. There's one that, I think it's fallen now. It was behind there. I'll have to rescue it and put it in a sling. Also, I've started harvesting a couple of my onions. There's a whole bunch more in there that I'm going to have to dig out. But right now I'm doing my garlic. Well, here we are at the garlic bed. The major one. There's also a little bit right over there. But this is the major garlic bed. As you can see, I've already started 3 cloves in. The soil's pretty dry and sandy, so it probably won't take me long to peel them out. We'll check back in a minute. All right, there is the empty bed. Well, empty except for the weeds. And I'll dig those over so that they can dry out and die. So my next whatever I put in there won't be affected by them. That's my pile of garlic. Because the deck is not quite dry, I'm going to have to find someplace else to lay them out to dry a little bit for a day or 2. Got a couple ideas. We'll see what happens. And we'll check back in a minute. Oh, yes. These garlic, I'm probably going to, I don't know if I'll harvest them later today or maybe tomorrow. Because this is a different kind. This is the Rambicoli, or however it's pronounced. I want to keep it separate from this kind whose name I cannot remember, but I grow more of. Maybe this year coming up when I put them in the fall, I'll just put them all together and not care what's what. Who am I joking? I'll probably keep them separate. All right, now let's go lay these out to dry. All right, there they are in all their glory. Turns out there was 101, which is kind of funny. Well, there's probably a couple more because I did take a couple out earlier in the season to use them because the stuff that I had been storing over winter was getting pretty sad. So 101 cloves to dry out. I'll let them dry for a little bit. Then I'll come in and I'll trim the ends down. You don't cut the roots right down to the base plate because they don't store very well then, but I'll cut them back. And I'll probably take a dry cloth and wipe as much of the soil off of them as I can. And I probably won't be very long before I braid them because the greens are pretty dry already. So I'll let those go for a little bit. I'll grab my basket and my gloves and see what's going on in my onion patch. Yay! I leave the leeks there and I'll just pull onions. So let's get going. All right, so I'll start off by putting these 3 round reds that I picked last night. I was going to bring them into the house, but I forgot. Won't be very much fun because it's warm out here. I'm not going to pull the leeks. The leeks are a little bit different because they've got the flat leaves versus the round fat leaves of the onions. So I'll leave the leeks because the bigger the better. And I'll just pull the onions. That's a delicata squash that I planted for Aletha. Not doing so great. Should have been planted earlier and given a whole lot more water. That is my shadow. Okay, that is a cucumber that I planted. It was a little bit late, but it seems to be doing okay. These are the onions and leeks from bulbs that overwintered in here. I should know. Well, I do know, but I never actually go by the rule where you don't bother to plant those because they will go to seed. I always plant them, and they're always teeny tiny little bulbs because they've gone to seed, and I'm always frustrated. With the one exception is the leek ones. Well, that one's very popular with the wasps and stuff. These guys I'm going to leave in because I ran out of leek seeds. So I'll leave those guys in and harvest some seeds from them. You can tell where I've got the pink red onions and where I've got the white onions. This one obviously is a pink onion. I had trouble getting my phone to focus today. There, that's obviously a pink onion. And this one obviously is a white onion. That's pretty neat. Okay. There, now we're back in focus again. Now I'm going to go ahead and dig up the onions because I don't like them too big. I'll check them before I pick them out, and if there's any that are not quite big enough, I will leave them. Alright, so I actually left quite a bit of the red onion in there. I don't want to get too much going at once, and I'm sure that Aletha and Brandon will want some. So I only harvested one of the red of Florence bulbs. It turns out there's only like maybe 4 in there. I've got one at home and one in the house here. So I've got maybe half a dozen good ones altogether. I also set some more seed to try to get more later on, but I noticed that they're not coming up. I did put some more seed for these red onions, and those are coming up well, so I'll grow them over winter, I guess. And hopefully some of those ones that are going to seed are these ones. These are called New York Early, and I ran out of seed for them, so hopefully I'm setting seed over there right now. I've got 5 of them. Jeez, I know I planted a whole lot more than that, but what can you do? The red onion, I have no idea what kind this is. It's been so long that I've had them that I certainly don't have the seed package anymore. Some of the ones that I picked are like pretty darn small. Whatever. All right. We'll leave them in there to dry out a little bit. That's the onion haul. And this is what's left. So all this area in here, that's all leeks, with maybe just a couple of the shallots in there, the red of Florence shallots. Those are all the round red onions. That's probably a couple white onions in there, the New York Early. And that's all the ones going to seed. I want leek seeds and I want New York Early seeds. So cross your fingers for me that there's some of them in there. I'm starting to get overheated. I can't remember if I showed you my zucchini. So here's my zucchini plant. Too much foliage, I know that it's in the shade, so it's not doing so great. We go in underneath. Maybe we can see one little zucchini there. There's a female flower with one underneath it. I grabbed one of the male flowers and made sure that it had plenty of pollen in it last night, so hopefully that fruit will stay. That's the yellow zucchini plant. And the flower hasn't opened on it yet, but that is definitely a yellow zucchini female flower. And is there another one in there? Yep, that's a second one in there. So I'll keep a watch on those, and if I get a male flowering open, I'll certainly hand pollinate them. Oh, look, there's the male flower from when I pollinated the green one last night. A little bit of spinach, and I think you might have gotten a glimpse of the Swiss chard earlier. I think I'll have Swiss chard for supper. That stuff's looking massively beautiful, just like yours. And that's my arugula. It's also known as rocket. Ugh, I hate when there's grass growing in my stuff. Arugula, it's like a spicy green. I love it. So does Bruce. And I put in a couple of those little red lettuces. I better water those guys too, because I put them in and didn't water them. How nasty of me. Okay, I think that's about all I have to say. Quick look at the garden shed. Not happening fast, but definitely happening. Roof is on. Gotta put some soffit in. Gotta put the siding on. The door is made. The door is inside there. That's the door. There's my windows. So hopefully that happens soon. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.